Hey, thanks for joining us here on Polk Place. And man, first time in the studio. Members of Lakeland Pigfest joining us is Donovan, Tinsley, and Coleen Pizzuti. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First time, you guys will come see Mark Jackson and the sports marketing guys, but you won't come and see me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
We've been waiting 27 years for this invite.
Well, I've only been here 20. I'll accept 3/4 of the blame.
Gotcha.
But then again, I had to pull strings. I had to call somebody with your last name. I might know an individual. What's it? Bill Tinsley? Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time that that card's been pulled.
I called him up. I'm like, hey, Bill, do you know a guy named Donovan? He goes, yeah, that's my son. I'm like, he said, I need to talk to him about Pigfest. He goes, here's his number. I go, you want to come in with him? And I won't tell you what he said, but
I can only imagine.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the nonprofit that is Lakeland Pigfest. How did this start 27 years ago?
Well, it's kind of one of those old folklore stories. A group of businessmen kind of came together and formed the original Lakeland Pig Festival that was held at Tigertown in Lakeland. But two gentlemen, Frank Buzanka and Judge Holmes and Don Pickard, some of these old Lakelanders, Jerry Black, attended a barbecue event in Tryon, North Carolina. And it was one of the very early on Kansas City Barbecue Society events, and just fell in love with the look of the event and how it went, and said, hey, we can do this back home. Brought it back, reached out to my father, who was the Director of Parks and Recreation at the time, to kind of say, hey, where do you think we could have this event? This is right up your alley. They came together and had it at, decided to have it on the grounds there at Tigertown, and that kind of was the start. The first couple of years, we had it in April, kind of right as you were coming out of spring training, which kind of made a lot of sense, but kind of figured out real early on it was a little hot. Yeah, a little hot in April, but
unpredictable weather in April too.
Yeah, but I think the third year was when we went to move to January, and we've been the last weekend of January ever since. So
now, Coleen, where do you fit in this story?
So I became involved with Pigfest back in the day when I was with the Junior League of Greater Lakeland. So between the Junior League of Greater Lakeland and Girls Inc., they provided all the volunteers to have the event happen, and so that many years ago is when my involvement started. And then over the years, Lakeland Pigfest now has 5 different nonprofits that are the beneficiaries. So all of the money that's raised for our event goes right back into our community.
So that's something that really surprised me as I read it, as I went to the website. I knew that there was great food and it was an event that unlike any other, but I didn't realize that every bit of it of the profits that were made were going right back into the community. Talk a little bit about the importance of investing where you live.
Yeah, it's so important. So there are 5 nonprofits. Alliance for Independence is one of them. Campfire Sunshine, Girls Inc., Learning Resource Center, and the Florida Children's Museum are the nonprofits that are the beneficiaries. And their ability to provide so much for our community, all citizens, children especially, is so important, because if we don't work with our children and we don't ensure that they're ready when they enter school, to enter kindergarten, and they're ready to succeed, then what is our workforce going to be like in our future? So we really, as a board, we believe very strongly in our nonprofits and what they do and how they help our community, and we're so excited that we have this event for them so that they can continue to make improvements within our community and impact the lives.
Donovan, as she's talked, the event itself. Let's talk specifics, dates, times, what the folks can expect.
Sure. Well, we're January 26th and 27th this year, Friday and Saturday. Friday evening from 5 to 10 is our kickoff, if you will, and that's a little different event than Saturday. It's just, as you can imagine, here in Polk County, that's a little more of a festive evening, nighttime event, much more of a a Friday night crowd.
A little bit of a chance to get your sponsors involved too.
Absolutely. And then Saturday is 10 to 5. Much more of a, I mean, we're a family event period, but definitely much more of a, hey, the kids are out on Saturday. We have a kids zone that's available both days, both at night and on Friday night, and then again on Saturday. But the teams themselves that are coming in from all over the country, and then of course our local guys that are in the backyard end of things start arriving as early as Wednesday, setting up, and there at the Expo campus at Sun and Fun, it's like a mini Sun and Fun if you've been there, in regards to that it's just a blank field, and then a barbecue city
exactly
is built almost overnight, over a couple of days there, which is
I just wonder if those Amazon pilots are like, you smell barbecue? I smell barbecue.
It is cool to be out there though and see them land.
Oh yeah. And as far as venues go, I mean, each of our Triple Crown events have a unique venue, and you guys, when you move from Tiger Town to this one, like you said, it's a really cool place because you got a bunch going on, and it's a lot more spread out.
Oh, it's been a tremendous partnership with Lights, John Leanhouse, and now with the new director that has come over from the city, which is great, and we couldn't be happier with that partnership. So.
And speaking of venues, one of the things we would be remiss if we didn't bring up is the kids barbecue competition too. So we're really proud of our kids barbecue competition that occurs.
Start them early.
We do.
Oh yeah.
They can start as early as 5 years of age to start competing. So there's two different groups with the kids. So go to our website if you have somebody, an aspiring barbecuer who wants to compete. There's prizes for them too. So we really, really want to promote that and have those signups. All the information's out on our website.
Something I want to talk to you about. You talked about volunteers, but also I want you to talk about volunteers and sponsors, especially because when it gets this big, there's a lot of moving parts, and in order to make those check donations to the people that need it the most, you rely on those sponsors and those volunteers. Talk to me a little bit about some of your sponsors and your volunteers.
So our volunteers are incredible. I can't even explain to you how wonderful it is. Those nonprofits we work with hundreds of volunteers who provide over 300 hours on those. Basically, they start on Wednesday, because when teams start arriving on Wednesday, we have volunteers already in place on Wednesday, and they go all the way through to Sunday because we have to do cleanup on Sunday. But their volunteers are incredible. They with minimal directions, they take this opportunity to make sure that everybody arrives safely, they're in the right spot, that the judges are being taken care of, that once teams are turning in their barbecue, that it's getting to the appropriate place, that they make sure that all the pig bucks are happening and that they're being collected and the money is moving the way it should be. The golf carts, they're making sure that the people who enter, once they come in, that they get them into the event, because if you've been to Sun and Fun, you know it's a hike from one area to the next area, so that we have golf carts to transport people. If you're taking an Uber or a Lyft, we have a spot there, and we have volunteers that are moving them into the area. I mean, in any capacity you can think of. We have volunteers we feed our volunteers, so we have another group of volunteers who provide the food, incredible food for our volunteers. So in any capacity you can think of for that event, we have volunteers that are doing that, and our board is all working with them to help all of that flow. It's an organized chaos, I like to say.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, it is. It's controlled. But the really great thing about it is, a few years ago, we had horrific rain leading up to the event, and our normal plans, we had to make decisions on the fly the night before the event was going to happen, and we were able to take all of these nonprofits and get the communication out to them, get it out to their volunteers, and seamlessly they were able to transition and still have an incredible event. Nobody who came would ever know anything that was happening behind the scenes, and that's the way we want it, because we want everybody that comes to enjoy themselves, have a great time, have some wonderful barbecue, have some community, but at the same time, they're helping our community too, because they're giving back. Because every pig buck that they purchase, that dollar goes right back into their community.
Donovan,
you mentioned the sponsors.
Yeah.
We cannot thank the sponsors that we've had enough. I mean, we I think it was either the second or the third year that Publix came on board, Publix Supermarkets and Publix Supermarkets Charities.
That's a big name.
And they've been with us from the start. They allow us to have the confidence that they're going to be with us every year, which has been phenomenal. Kingsford is another large one that's been with us from the start, and then a myriad of other folks that have come and gone through the years, but most of them are there with us every single year. It's amazing when you talk about we've had the opportunity to give back to these non-for-profits. Little over $3 million, almost $3.5 million since our inception is pretty incredible. So
we got about 30 seconds left. Inspire folks to come and see you and pick up them pig bucks.
absolutely, come to us.
And they're not spendable the next year.
Nope.
Spend what you got.
Again, every dollar for a dollar. You come in. The currency is pig bucks at Pigfest. You can any information lakelandpigfest.org. You can get the information on us on the event. But it's an event you don't want to miss if you haven't been. I mean, just seeing the rigs that come on these national teams that come in, walking around, experiencing great bands, great food. It's something you'll enjoy for sure. And it's for the whole family.
Guys, I want to thank you for coming in. We're out of time, but I will definitely see you 26th, 27th, maybe both days. But anytime you got anything you need to promote, please come back in and see me, would you please?
Sounds good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, make sure you check out the 27th Annual Lakeland Pigfest, Friday, January 26th, and Saturday, January 27th at Sun and Fun Expo Campus. Now, admission for the Lakeland Pigfest is just $5, and kids 12 years and younger can enter for free. Stop by a Pig Bucks booth located near the entrance and various locations throughout and exchange your cash for Pig Bucks, the official currency of the Lakeland Pigfest. By purchasing food from competition teams, you are supporting their efforts and local charities. Now, if you need more information, check them out at lakelandpigfest.org. If you enjoyed that episode of Polk Place, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and even check out the next one.